This week, the Biden administration took steps to combat so-called ghost guns. Those are homemade firearms that can be assembled with kits or 3D printers. President Biden announced new rules that would allow the weapons to be treated like other guns made and sold in the U.S. That includes requiring sellers to run background checks on buyers. The president hopes that these regulations will help prevent crime and save lives. For more on this, I want to bring in Christian Heine. He is the vice president of policy at Brady, a nonprofit organization that advocates for gun control. Christian is also a survivor of gun violence. So for all of these reasons, Christian, I'm glad to have you joining me today. The Biden administration is now going to require ghost gun kits to have serial numbers, as well as require sellers to keep records on purchases. Do you think that these steps are going to be effective?
I absolutely do, Lana. These steps are common steps forward where all we're trying to do and all of this administration is trying to do is to regulate these weapons like the firearms that they are. Ghost guns have become exponentially worse every year that they've been in production, and we continue to see them rise in prevalence in communities most impacted by gun violence. So the steps taken by this administration should have a huge impact in our country.
Christian, there are a lot of reasons to be concerned about ghost guns. As you say, they're becoming more easily accessible as 3D printers are becoming more easily accessible. But first, just give us a reality check. How big of a threat are these weapons in the U.S.? Do you know what percentage of shootings used ghost guns?
What we know from the research that we have available is that in the cities that are most impacted by gun violence, year after year, especially in the last 3 to 5 years, we've seen the prevalence of these weapons grow exponentially. There's a recent report, Lana, just from a couple weeks ago, where we saw in Los Angeles alone, more than 20% of the weapons recovered by LAPD last year were in fact ghost guns. And what's worse is that we know that somewhere around 90% of those ghost guns were built from kits sold from a single company because
Wait, say that again, Christian. 90% of those ghost guns came from one company?
Yep, it's a company called Polymer 80. They're based out of Reno, Nevada, and they create a kit that these firearms are sold in a jig. If you've ever put together IKEA furniture, you could build one of these guns, and they're marketed as unregulated and untraceable. So that's why this market's exploded so much, and that's why this rule is so important to protect us against gun violence.
That's fascinating and so interesting that one company has become the almost a monopoly in this area. We're focusing obviously on ghost guns, given the new regulations that the president announced, and given how much more common they're becoming. But there are also problems with guns and gun violence and crime in America that haven't been addressed, that preceded ghost guns. So, what other solutions would you like to see from the federal government to decrease gun violence?
Yeah, I mean, it's the question, right? And we heard the president in the Rose Garden describe some of these common sense measures that we know a majority of Americans across the country want to see. There is a bipartisan bill sitting in the Senate right now that Republicans and Democrats alike sent over from the House of Representatives that more than 90% of Americans support for universal background checks. And the only reason that that bill can't be brought to the fore and passed into law is because of the use of tools like the procedural filibuster that have made it impossible for the majority of senators that want to vote for that policy to put it into place. We know what the solutions are. We just got to get them across the line, and we can't let the obstruction of a small number of senators get in the way of the progress we need to see, because we can't afford it. Americans can't afford it. Like you mentioned, I'm a survivor of gun violence. We don't have any time to wait.
Christian Heine, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.